The Webb residence sat on a quiet suburban street in Queens, a world away from the chaos of Manhattan. White siding, trimmed hedges, the kind of house that wore normalcy like a mask. But the air tonight was heavy, curtains drawn, the porch light trembling in the wind. Detective Sasha Rudenko paused at the gate, rain dripping from the brim of his hat. He hated this part. Telling the living about the dead never got easier. Inside, Caroline's parents sat rigid on the couch, hands clenched white. A framed photograph of Caroline as a child rested on the mantel, a girl with bright eyes and missing front teeth, frozen in innocence. Mrs. Webb's voice cracked the silence. She was supposed to be safe here. After everything she went through as a child, she was supposed to be safe. Sasha shifted uncomfortably. We're doing everything we can. We'll find whoever's responsible. Her husband leaned forward, eyes narrowing. Find him. Or protect him. Because I swear to God, detective, if the police already know who did this and do nothing. The words stabbed deeper than intended. Sasha kept his expression still, though his chest tightened. He thought of the lab results. His DNA. Mrs. Webb broke into sobs, and Sasha excused himself. On the porch, he lit a cigarette, though he'd promised himself he'd quit years ago. The smoke mingled with the rain, bitter and fleeting. He wondered if the Webbs would one day look at him the way the evidence already did, with suspicion, with hatred. Meanwhile, across town, Anna Martinez sat hunched over her laptop in a dingy cafe. The screen glowed with Caroline Webb's digital footprint, social media photos, community blog posts, a charity page she'd once organized for fire victims. Anna muttered to herself, fingers drumming the table. Fire, again. She traced Caroline's timeline back. At 14, Caroline had been in a group home after losing her parents in a house fire. Years later, she'd written a blog post about surviving trauma, about finding hope again. The words had the bittersweet ring of someone trying to convince herself. Anna scrolled further, her eyes catching on an old photograph. Caroline with other kids at the group home. One boy in the corner of the picture drew Anna's attention. Dark eyes, sharp features, a guarded expression. She zoomed in, but the image blurred. Still, something about the boy tugged at her instincts. She quickly saved the photo. Her phone buzzed. An anonymous text lit the screen. Stop digging. Some mirrors aren't meant to be touched. Anna froze, the cafe's background noise fading into a hollow hum. Sasha returned to his apartment after midnight, his nerves frayed. He dropped his coat, loosened his tie, and poured a glass of whiskey. The photograph of Caroline on the crime board above his desk seemed to stare back at him. He rubbed his temples. "Who are you?" he whispered. The mirror across the room caught his eye. His reflection sat with him, head bowed, drink in hand. Only for a second, it looked as though the reflection lifted its head first. Sasha's heart pounded. He stood, crossing the room. The glass showed only him now, tired and pale. He pressed a hand to the mirror, fingers trembling. The cold surface grounded him, but he couldn't shake the feeling that another heartbeat pulsed just beneath it. The next day, Anna tracked down one of Caroline's old friends from the group home, a woman named Dana. They met in a small diner near the East River. She never liked talking about that place, Dana said, stirring her coffee. Said the fire changed her. Said some kids never recovered. Did she ever mention anyone specific? Anna asked. Dana hesitated. There was this boy, a twin, I think. Strange kid. Quiet, but he had this intensity. Like he was always watching you. Caroline said he scared her sometimes, but she never gave details. Anna leaned in. Do you remember his name? Dana shook her head. No. Just that he disappeared. One day he was gone. No one ever talked about it again. Anna's mind raced. A twin. Fire. Disappearance. She thought of Rudenko again, of his accent, his haunted eyes. No, she told herself. It's too neat. Too easy. But that evening, Sasha was called back to the precinct. The forensics team had more results. The technician looked uneasy. We confirmed the DNA match, detective. It's strong. Lipstick trace, epithelial cells. We ran it twice. Sasha clenched his fists. There has to be an explanation. Maybe, the text said softly. But from where I'm standing, it looks like you kissed her. The words landed like a blade. For the first time in years, Sasha felt truly afraid, not of the killer, but of himself. The call came just before dawn. Sasha jolted awake, heart already pounding before he answered. Detective Rudenko. We've got another one. Same signature. Midtown. The line went dead. The city was barely stirring when Sasha arrived. Police lights splashed red and blue across the concrete steps of St. Mary's Cathedral. The second victim lay at the base of the stone columns, arranged like an offering. A young man this time. Early 30s, suit wrinkled, shoes polished. His eyes stared skyward, but his lips, painted with someone else's lipstick, were sealed by a white lily pressed gently against them. A folded note rested on his chest. Love is not bound by flesh. It breathes in death. Sasha's gut twisted. This was no coincidence. The killer was evolving, changing the flower, the phrasing, but keeping the same ritual tenderness. One of the uniforms muttered nearby, "Guy looks peaceful. Like he wanted it." Sasha bit back a retort. He knew better. There was nothing peaceful about being turned into a message. Anna was already there. Of course she was. She scribbled furiously into her notebook, her breath fogging in the cold air. When Sasha approached, she didn't smirk this time. She looked pale. "He kissed him too," she said quietly. "It's not about gender. It's about possession. About claiming." Sasha's jaw tightened. "You shouldn't be here." "Neither should you," she shot back, her eyes burning. "You're too close to this, detective. Whoever's doing this," she hesitated, "it feels personal to you. Don't deny it." He turned away, but her words clung to him like smoke. Back at the precinct, the atmosphere shifted. Whispers followed Sasha through the halls. Files slid across desks, glances exchanged like knives. Captain Doyle cornered him in the stairwell. "DNA again," Doyle said bluntly. "Same as before. Sasha, I've covered for you more times than I can count. But this? 2 victims. Both with your prints all over them." "They're not my prints," Sasha growled. "Maybe not your hands," Doyle replied, "but the lab says otherwise. Internal Affairs is sniffing blood. Watch your step, or you're done." That night, Anna pieced the story together in her apartment, walls plastered with printouts and notes. 2 victims. A rose. A lily. Love letters written in death. Her eyes kept returning to the blurry group home photo. The boy in the corner. She enlarged it again, the pixels breaking apart. Something about the angle of his face, it echoed Rudenko's. Twin. The word stuck like a thorn. Her phone buzzed again. Another anonymous text. "Stop, Anna. He'll see you too." Her skin crawled. She glanced at her window, half expecting to see someone standing in the dark. Sasha, meanwhile, sat in his apartment surrounded by silence. He'd taped the crime scene photos side by side, Caroline with her rose, the businessman with his lily. 2 strangers, staged with tenderness. 2 messages written in flowers. He studied the lipstick smudges. Identical in shape, in pressure. The same mouth, leaving its mark. His own. The thought made him shiver. He pressed his lips together, then stared at his reflection in the glass of a framed photo on the wall. For a heartbeat, the reflection smiled. Sasha stumbled back, whiskey glass shattering at his feet. Later, unable to sleep, he wandered the city streets. Neon lights bled into the mist, cars hissed along wet pavement. Every shadow looked like someone watching. Every reflection in a shop window seemed a fraction too slow to mimic him. Finally, he stopped at the darkened window of a closed bar. His reflection stared back, hollow-eyed, coat dripping. Only, behind his shoulder, just for a breath, he thought he saw another face. His face. But different. When he blinked, it was gone. At that exact hour, across the city, Anna pinned another article to her wall. Headline, Group Home Fire, 1987, Dozens Displaced, Identities Lost. She circled a name half buried in the text. It matched the boy she'd seen in the photograph. And though she didn't know it yet, She'd just written the first breadcrumb that would lead her straight into the killer's past. The city slept uneasily that night, unaware that somewhere in the dark, a man was choosing his next flower.